stay down, down. I'm just stuck here in a dream. I'm at the bottom of the ocean. I'm at the bottom of the sea. I'm gonna stay down, down. I'm just stuck here in a dream.
Freedom is the right of all sentient beings.
There's a lot of tough talk on Twitter, but there's not a lot of real talk.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
China is flexing its military muscle.
The White House is warning about North Korea's nuclear weapons program.
U.S. officials believe Russians are behind a sophisticated cyber attack.
New concerns inside the U.S. defense community over a Russian military satellite.
Competition across the globe grows faster. Technology evolves exponentially. New adversaries loom outside our borders. Threats grow in the darkness of space and cyber. The 18th Airborne Corps, headquartered on Fort Bragg, but spread across the country, across 14 installations, is 92,000 soldiers who stand against these threats as the military's contingency response force. As technology grows faster, our enemies grow smarter, the world grows more dangerous and uncertain. The 18th Airborne Corps serves as a hedge against that uncertainty. As the contingency response force, units throughout the Corps must be ready to deploy anywhere in the world on a moment's notice.
America's contingency force is the global response force. That means we are focused, we are organized, we think about global competition every day. If we want to win, we have to innovate. We have to innovate faster than our adversaries. We have to outthink our adversaries. That is the culture of innovation that we talk about here in America's Contingency Corps.
So just like a soldier that goes and he takes his kits and he disassembles it and he reassembles it in a way that's more comfortable, just like you have a soldier that reconfigures his fighting load to enable him to be more efficient on the battlefield. We want to give the soldiers ownership in the 18th Airborne Corps to enable them to contribute to what we do as a fighting force. That's very, very important, because not only does that translate into effectiveness on the battlefield, it also transfers to motivation. It also gives us the esprit de corps to continue to fight towards the objective and complete the mission.
Let's roll.
Morning, Sergeant Major.
How do you know what kind of goddamn day it is?
Beautiful morning, Sergeant Major.
Are you a fucking weatherman now?
You're listening to Sergeant's Time on WTF Nation Radio.
Always Spanky.
Hey, y'all.
Yeah. Buccino from 18th Airborne Corps coming on at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. He's going to be on here, yeah. It seems like we've been going back to Bragg a lot lately, right? Oh, man. Welcome to Sergeant's Time, U.S. Army WTF Moments, WTF Nation Radio. We're streaming live on Twitters, on Twitch, on YouTube, and, of course, on the two Facebook pages at U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. So there's no way you can avoid us. You can find us. You can find us. So anyways, how you doing, Spanky?
I'm good. It's been raining like nonstop here. So I'm like, planning to buy a canoe or something just in case.
I was about to say.
I've never seen it have this much rain.
Like, is it normal? I mean, isn't like they call it like the monsoon season or something like that over there?
No, we never get this much rain. I mean, like April is usually rainy, and then by now it is just hot as fuck usually and no rain. But like the lakes, like Belton Lake here is like so overly full, like where all the picnic tables and stuff are, like the water's coming out past them.
Oh, damn.
Past that. Yeah, like you can pull a boat up to like a picnic table right now. It's crazy. I'm just like, wow.
Damn.
And I'm like, I'm over it. I want to go outside and play. And not in the rain.
Thomas says he won't comment until he gets the top fan badge back. Wait a sec. What do you mean? What do you mean you didn't get the top fan? What? You have to interact with the page, not just comment. Throw in some interactions, likings, and commenting and stuff on other posts. That's how you get it. You're gonna hold it. You're gonna try to hold us hostage by asking for the top fan badge. Is that what it is, Thomas? That's pretty mean,
See
dude.
if I can take them away from everybody.
Yeah,
no top fan.
Yeah, I remember that. Remember when that top fan pass first came out, and everyone got pretty upset when we were just taking them from people and just joking around about it. They really got upset. They were pretty pissed. They're just like going, "Oh, you took my top fan." They really, I'm not gonna like this page anymore. I'm like, we're just joking.
No.
We're just joking, guys. We're just.
It's not a real diamond there, y'all. It's really not.
It's not a real badge. You cannot put this on your SRB.
Gotta get a little ribbon. People can wear it in uniform. Top fan
the top fan WTF Moments top fan badge. There you go. You can put it in there. You might do some. I might be good for some promotion points or something like that. But
I mean, it might be. It takes away promotion points. Who knows?
I don't know. We've had some commands. Keep an eye out and look at who comments and who makes their comments inside WTF Moments or WTF Nation Radio to kind of like, oh man. Oh, Gary, is that the diamond? I gave mine to my wife. Oh, Gary, God.
That's so sweet.
That's sweet, Gary. You the man. You the man. You the man. No way. My badges are mine. Spanky behooves like no other. That's right.
I'm gonna fight you, cause.
So we're gonna have Colonel Joe Buccino. Now, somebody asked me if, because Joe Buccino's frequent appearance on U.S. Army WTF Moments or WTF Nation Radio, and we are seen hanging out a few times. Is he an admin? He's not an admin. He's a public affairs officer. He gets himself into trouble without any of our help. Just messing, Joe. But anyways, I have to know, did you see Cletus McFarland's underwater Humvee? Eddie, oh my God. Well, I'm so glad you brought this up. Man, I was going to talk about this on Monday, but we'll talk about it right now. Look, meme warfare is irregular warfare, okay? If there's a meme that's being passed around and it gets deposited into the inbox at US Army WTF Moments, it's going to get posted. And when it does get posted, that's it. And anything that we know came from us, once it's been posted and it's been submitted by a fan, they watermark it. That's just the way it is. That's just the life of memes, the circle of memes. How do I know this? Is because we've done tests before, as the meme DeLoreans and the meme lords have run tests to see if who people will steal it, and we have actually done some meme anti-theft. And the next thing you know, they're like, we didn't steal your meme. And we used to purposely put the WTF symbol on specific spots where we would know where it was at, and then watch people just say it's their memes. And then we would post their memes. And that's the way it is. Look, unless somebody is making some freaking money off of it or something like that, if memes were trademarked, we'd all be rich, right? We would all be rich, because no one claims the meme or whatever. Some memes are straight dank that you wouldn't want to claim them. You're just like, hey, look what I found, and you share them. And if you do make them, then good on you, right? We don't get mad. We really don't get mad. We will kind of laugh and jip, just kind of like trying to poke you and jab you a little bit to say, hey, you stole our meme. But we're not going to get like wah.
Right.
We're not going to get upset if a meme.
It's not going to hurt our feelings.
It's not going to hurt our feelings if you take one of the WTF Moments memes and we'll laugh at you and make fun of you. Hey, nice meme, funny. We've even been told, hey, we're going to steal your meme or something like that. Well, there's a racing aficionado named Cletus McFarland, and man, he hits their fans. We posted a Humvee that was underwater, right? And it was a Humvee that was submerged, and it was a repurposed Humvee. And I guess he bought it and took it and does these mad modifications for it. Well, when it posted, no big deal, right? It was just posted. I saw it, and everyone's. I even had some of the admins asking me, "Hey, do you know who this Cletus McFarland is?" I said, "No, I know what 3 Cletus is. 3 Cletus is William Wallace's beer. That's the beer shirt we're about ready to run this summer. We already got Cletus. He's already got his symbol looking up, and we already got the graphics getting ready to be done. And I know who 3 Cletus is. What 3 Cletus is? Everybody knows who 3 Cletus is." And no, Cletus McFarland. So I got all these links, And then I got the comments. We got the comments of everybody who was commenting on this. I mean, I guess we broke the glass ceiling of who do we offend, or people think that we offend. When you offend Cletus McFarlane fans, you have offended everybody. And so then I kind of like was just, I don't know, was swimming around in some of their in some of their groups. People don't know sometimes. I have, there's other Facebook accounts that I'm not saying I do or do not have that I use for sneaking around and finding out when someone's like, oh, this person's talking smack, and oh, really? Well, they blocked me, and let me go check my other Facebook account. And then, we have our stealth accounts that we go looking at, and then we also see, and some of you don't realize that some of us are admins on other pages that you shit talk us about. And so the comments on there were, you should have, WTF Moments should not have claimed that meme. Do you know whose Humvee that is? That's intellectual property. That's Cletus McFarlane's Humvee. And I'm thinking that's really a fucking Humvee. I didn't see Cletus McFarlane specifically design it, and we're not trashing Cletus McFarlane himself. Have you seen his videos and stuff like that? He does racing shit. If you like cars and you like racing stuff, it was the fans that were going nuts. I mean, they were going 100% complete ape shit about this, and they're like, "Wow, you better give him credit." And I'm like, "Credit for what? That's his truck." Okay, well, I've had my vehicles used in memes before. Or, hell, we've been in memes. Somebody's taking pictures of our vehicles or situations that they made me. So you're saying I want to know where this, where you could file for meme, royalties, because I want some of that.
Right? Meme theft?
Yeah, I want some meme. Yeah. Wow.
That's a new branch in the FBI. I want to be
We have this new RICO department called the meme RICOs. You know what I mean? And that's exactly, yeah. So, and it was funny because the transmission blew out. And exactly that, Chelsea. It was literally pictures. Again, just a fucking picture of a Humvee half submerged. And then they got mad at me. I got blocked. People, once they realized who I was getting blocked from a lot of Cletus McFarlane fan pages because they realized it was me. It's Ice from WTF Moments. Get him out of here. So everybody really got mad about this, and I'm thinking, you guys are saying you hate Cletus. I'm like, what are you talking about? First off, we didn't even know that the obsessive fan base of Cletus McFarlane. It's not even his real name, by the way. The Cletus McFarlane's not even his real name. If you look at his shit, if you look at his YouTube videos and stuff like that, if you like cars and you like burnouts and raise hell, praise Dale type shit, and you like fucking seeing what if someone were to get a vehicle and modify it, he'll do it. It's awesome. I mean, some of his videos, again, no beef. It's just the fans really got upset. The fans really got butthurt to the point to, file for trademark 50, yeah. And I'm thinking
it's some obsessive fans, protective fans.
Oh my,
I need protective fans.
Right, I was about to say, where's our fans?
Where do we get protective fans?
I want to see. Yeah, I want to see. That's Ice's or that's Spanky's talk. Why are you talking about that stuff? And then, how come I don't have any We don't have any protective fans, do we? We don't have any. We don't have nobody.
My feelings are hurt now.
Yeah, I'm upset. Wait till we post the William Wallace's 3 Cletus fucking stuff. You know what I mean? Oh, that's gonna be hilarious. So if you guys don't know, a long time ago we were laughing and talking about different drinks and what type of beer to have and all this. No big deal, right? Last Evil wouldn't last 2 minutes in a real team, thin skin. And we talked about having our own beer, our own drink, and we even said we should. What are we gonna call it? Are we going to call it like it's going to be like an IPA? Because everyone drinks IPA. Or is it going to be like a double? So we just started talking. We just had like mad drinks. Everyone was talking about Rip Its and stuff like that. And William Wallace, a fan. Man, you need to get up in the net, man. I haven't seen you in a while. And it was epic, man. That we could not stop. And I took a break and then I grabbed some Tecate and that was some drinking radio at the time, as a matter of fact. And it was a good time. We had fans calling in and all that stuff, giving us ideas for this type. So William Wallace said 3 Cletus. And oh man, we just started. We were like 4 Loco. We started calling, like making just a bunch of names. And he freaking he freaking William Wallace came up with 3 Cletus. Oh my God, we couldn't stop laughing. Well, one of our staff members' dogs passed away, and his name was Cletus. So Cletus, the dog, is going to be the emblem, the symbol, because we were looking for an emblem to make or something like that. Well, three Cletus, WTF Nation's 3 Cletus beer from William Wallace is going to be a dog. It's going to be a specific breed of dog, and once we get the graphic up and all that, we're going to make it a show. We're gonna make it like a T-shirt, so that way you can purchase yourself some, WTF Nation Brewery William Wallace's 3 Cletus beer. We're just gonna call it beer, and it's just in honor of Cletus. Cletus would be in everybody, like all the pics. Cletus the dog was awesome. So that's when 3 Cletus came out, it just fit when we were looking for that we would pay honor to Cletus the dog by making him the mascot or the emblem for 3 Cletus. And again, I just want to make you guys know, we'd already said this. We already talked about 3 Cletus beer. William Wallace created it. It's his idea. We're going to get T-shirts made. WTF Nation Brewery is going to be setting it up. Jokingly, we're probably going to have one of our brewery friends make it for us. That's the plan, and I'm just going to give you guys that. And once it comes out in honor of Cletus, that's what we're going to do. That's what we have in the works, right? So if any of you Cletus McFarlane fans come out and say, you guys took the meme, we don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it.
I guess racing fans are just another breed.
Yeah, I guess. No pun intended.
I've never been to any racing anything really, so
I've never seen racing fans get so upset about somebody's brand to where they say that's his truck. Like to the members of the staff that posted it on the main page, it was just a Humvee. Everyone knows what a freaking desert colored Humvee looks like, right? These fans were able to get a freaking they were able to say, because they were able to do forensic analysis on this freaking Humvee to dime out to say this was Cletus McFarlane's Humvee. Again, nothing against Cletus McFarlane, just the fact that the fans got really pissed off about it and really upset because we didn't say it belonged to him. They were like saying, you poached that picture, you poached the photo, and we're like, what are you freaking talking about? We poaching. Freaking, you poach elephants and rhinos and shit. You don't poach a meme. There's no such thing. Yeah, which is hilarious. So I don't.
Committed a crime.
We committed some cyber crimes. Right. Now some cyber crimes with some of them, but again. So with that's just some of the drama. I appreciate you guys bringing up that, because that was freaking hilarious. We couldn't stop laughing. The main page was even asking me, do you know cars? You know some racing stuff. Ice, do you know who this is? I'm like, honestly, I don't. And again, I see videos and racing videos and stuff just like in passing, or someone sent me a link. He had a car that like engine blew up or something like that. That's funny, or something like that, right? But then when I started seeing the comments, you better do you fucking bird. Immediately South Park came to mind.
South Park comes to mind.
Exactly, South Park. You took our memes. I was like, dude, you guys chill. It's just a picture. It's just a meme. What does the meme look like? I'll stand by. I'll fucking hell. We'll draw the meme up. Memes are protected under DAPM 4-20.69. Okay. I'll tell you what. We will grab memes for said meme for you. We want to stir the hornet's nest up again. Might as well. This is U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. So why not? Let's let me dig in the archives and the files here of the posted meme the meme that launched 1,000 complaints. I can't believe you did that. What are you talking about, dude? It's just it was freaking hilarious. As a matter of fact, I'm going to grab the comment of where people got pissed off. I can't do that. I can't do it because it'll drop some. One of the comments is, in the time that you took to watermark and put someone else's picture, you could at least type the image of the owner's name at the bottom of the situation, and it would have been considering the owner of said image would have gotten more publicity. Just saying. Honestly, at least give credit where credit is due. This isn't a submitted WTF picture. And then somebody put in there, If it hits our inbox, it goes up. I'm gonna post a picture of it because people are like, "What are you talking about?" Let me post this meme because I was freaking dying. It was funny. It was the funnies of the funnies. So let me grab this. Let me grab this, and I want to make sure there's no individual individual information. So that way the main page can say, "Hey, why are you busting out some memes here?" You know, I don't want to upset the main page too. So here we go. But anyways, so there's the meme.
I'm waiting to see it. And it's gonna pop up here in a second.
Now, that's it. And it's the Humvee of the lake. What wisdom shall you bestow upon us, right? Now this right here, somebody that submitted it to us, what it was, is that this is a meme that goes back for the boomer time. There was this one time where an army tank was in the lake, and somebody walked up to it and said, "Oh, tank of the lake, what wisdom shall you bestow upon us?" So when this went up, everyone didn't get the joke. They didn't get the joke at all, and they really got mad when we posted the fucking we put the watermark on here.
Oh gosh,
watch out, you know. Everyone's
like,
like,
"Gonna get paid for this."
Did he give you permission to have that meme made? It's just like we don't need
to get permission now.
We have not. We haven't. We need to get permission for people to make memes now. According, we have to submit a DA form, a 4180 meme 7 or something like that.
Something like that.
Okay.
It's in that Pam that you were just talking
It's
about.
It's in that Pam. So again, this was what everybody was getting butthurt over this. This was the big drama. This is what offended an entire. I mean, before I was found, and I was kind of okay. I kind of helped. I couldn't help it myself. I kind of trolled them along a little bit once they found out who it was that was inside their groups trolling them. And they realized, wait a minute, you're Ice. You're from WTF Nation. Kick him out. And I got banned. You know.
Gonna have to slip in there.
So you better shut up. You took our meme. This is the meme. This is the meme. This is the meme that launched 1,000 comments. So it's just again, I couldn't stop laughing. I thought it was hilarious that someone got so upset that you really you don't have to ask for permission to do memes, guys. You can actually, I mean, there are some protective fans. Don't get me wrong. I love the fact that people are protective over their fans. I did nothing wrong with that. I mean, but we were called like vicious names. Like, well, we've been called worse, but.
Oh, sure.
But one of the comments that we got is just like, just seems like a real Blue Falcon move. Would you have taken less credit, given the Cleater credit that you put up on your watermark and claim it was yours? Dude, people got mad. I wonder how many actually know the Cletus McFarlane channel and do it for Dale, you know. And it was like, I've been a Cletus fan since he was blowing up fidget spinners and with Nas and he was. I was like, credit. You must be new to Facebook. So after bantering back and forth of several groups, I got banned. I got removed from their groups because it was just a joke. You know, I'll be honest with you. You can always tell when someone gets out of Facebook jail because when they do, they will post the memes that you shared from their 30-day ban. You never notice that? You ever notice that? Exactly that, Russell. Thank you. Everyone would say, how did you, I just got banned from Facebook and I got a messenger. Like, cool, yeah, cool. And then like 30 days later, they're gone, right? They're off the timeline. Well, then they start sharing all the memes that you've already shared like a month ago, 2 months ago. And
right, because you're so far behind.
Exactly, Heather. You have not lived until you've pissed off Facebook trolls. Oh my, it is. I
like to kind of do it in like, I'm not going to give myself away too much, but like certain posts all have like their little spouses groups. Those are fun.
Yes. Well,
those are fun.
I was where are the Facebook pro bono lawyers exactly? Cletus and McCletus for the people. But I want to know. I want to know what the big deal is. I don't know why would someone would get so upset, because it's just the way it is. You have other groups in there. I've been in some spouses groups that I've got added in, and it's just because the admin was just adding people, and I realize we'll go in there, and you'd be like, you just like, you go in there and like, and I'll just make a comment. And then the same thing. Wait a minute, you're Ice. What do you do in the Fort Campbell Wives group? You guys let me in. And then this long freaking thread of telling me why I shouldn't be in there. It's like, it's just a spouse. You don't say if you just don't say, and you let me in. If when I request it, then I just go in there, because, you know, as the law office of Cletus McFarland, Cletus and Cletus, the four of the people. Oh my God, yeah. So again, so that was some of the big drama that we had over that one thing. So thank you for bringing that up in the chats. What happened with the Cletus McFarland meme? Again, it's just a picture of a freaking Humvee in the middle of a freaking lake using an old 1980s, 90s generation, you know, boomer freaking meme comments. That's all. I'm gonna post that thing up here again just to get everybody riled up again, because I want the. You know, that I don't want to freaking have anybody. Yeah, no. Speaking of, that was one of the ones I got kicked out of. That was the wives group.
Oh yeah.
Because as a host and a representative of the WTF Nation, I want to know what's going on. I want to see what the streets are saying.
I mean, it might not be my normal profile that goes into most of these groups, but I'm in lots.
Right.
Lots.
Right. I go in there and just kind of like sneak around and just kind of see, and then the next thing like, wait a minute, I know who you are. I recognize that emblem. I recognize you're Ice. And what are you doing in here? This is the spot. You guys let me in. There you go. So, but I just think it's funny. But again. What were you saying? I didn't mean to just like totally get distracted, but that was just a funny fucking story.
I don't remember. I think we were just starting. We hadn't even really got into anything yet.
Yeah, I was really getting from the comments. Yeah, I just started.
Yeah, we're starting to say hello to everybody in the comments, and this comes up.
Yeah, this just comes up with the. What'd you guys think of the Humvee? So there you go. That's the Humvee story that we have. I do want to say thank you guys and gals so much for submitting all of your photos for the Memorial Day roll-up that U.S. Army WTF Moments just started recently doing the last few Memorial Days. Here's what you got to remember. We cannot possibly honor everybody who's lost in battle for Memorial Day.
Yes.
It is literally, so anybody who has their own collage or their own postings or their own whatever, we have nothing to do with it. All we do is we look at it, we verify it and say, yep, was that guy KIA, whatever, and then we just move on and post. We did say a few weeks prior that we were going to be doing this again. So if your loved one or someone didn't get recognized during the 24-hour Memorial Day period, and we start we start immediately, just like any other, just like New Year's, it's like midnight. We started at midnight, and then we start posting, and we start posting upon frequency. That's why you start noticing like onesies and twosies in the early morning hours, and then as the day progressed, it just started going like 2, 3, 4 posts, and then it started getting more busy, I guess you would say. So, and we were posting them. They were also, I helped in there as well. They were being posted to Instagram as well, so it was like really freaking busy. So a lot of it going back and forth. Everyone was like, I didn't get my family on there, or how come you didn't post this, or why wasn't that person posted? Just like posted, just like, and then it goes in the inbox, and then we just get a real quick bio. On that note, we have a call for attendance that's going to be coming out in a minute. And this is for a Medal of Honor recipient, and he's being reinterred from one grave and getting buried in another one. And so I wanted to throw out right now that the public's been invited to line the route of a procession, because the remains of Medal of Honor recipient who died in 1884 will be relocated to Leavenworth National Cemetery during a ceremony Friday morning. So tomorrow at 09:30, that's when this is going to happen. I'm doing it over the air, so that way when you guys see the post, you're going to be like, oh, I hope I'm not too late. This guy was given a Medal of Honor by General Sherman himself. And and his name is Sergeant Robert McPhailin, and he's an immigrant from Ireland, and him and his wife immigrated from Ireland and joined the U.S. Army. And so he's going to be. This is a pretty big event. The procession is scheduled to leave the R.L. Lance funeral home, which is on 4701 10th Avenue, at 9:30 a.m. And then the procession will proceed north on 10th Avenue and then east on Muncie Road to the entrance of the Leavenworth National Cemetery at 150 Muncie Road. So, you guys, if you guys want to go ahead and remember that it's going to be posted up. Bring American flags to line the route, and again it'll be posted. So again, this guy served again got a Medal of Honor from freaking General Sherman, man. That's just badass. So
I mean, it leaves me speechless. I'm not even gonna like it really does. It's just like trying to think. What a different time and everything that was. It's just crazy.
Right. So
my mind can't wrap itself around.
Right. Exactly. Same here. So this is from the Leavenworth Times. John Richmeyer in Kansas. We got this out. So there's going to be other ones. We're starting to, now that the COVID mitigation's kind of like lifting and masks and stuff. Everything's kind of lifting up. We're going to go back into their our calls for assistance. And a call for attendances are starting to come back. Once that happens, then you'll start seeing more of these posts. But this is one of the first ones. We have another one that's happening that's going to be scheduled. That's going to be posted as well on U.S. Army WTF Moments. But that's going to be a little bit later. And this is for on June 18th. And this is going to be at the Hamilton Funeral and Afterlife Services in conjunction with the Missing in America Project. They're going to inter 9 unclaimed veterans and 2 spouses. And this is a service that's actually open to the general public and veterans organizations that wish to attend. So Hamilton's Funeral Home is in 3601 Westtown Parkway West, Des Moines, Iowa. And there's going to be a staging at 12:30 p.m. their time, military honors at 2 p.m. And so again, transportation will be provided to the cemetery by the Hamilton's Funeral Home, escorted by some veterans organizations that are helping as well. And a service will be held at 12:30, following by burial and military honors at 2 p.m. at the Iowa Veterans Cemetery. And a procession to the cemetery will go down the Westtown Parkway until the Jordan Creek Parkway, and then Interstate 80 going westbound. We're going to have information posted everywhere on this, and it's gonna. What was that? Somebody's asking. What was this crazy? Well, was he one of the troops that burned their way through South Carolina and Charleston? I don't know. Robert Phelan. He fought in the Indian Wars. I guess I think is what it was. If you look up at his Medal of Honor, he was discovered in a potter's field. Like there was a grave there, and then that was how he was discovered. He was a rank sergeant in the Indian campaigns, Echo Company 5th U.S. Infantry, in the Army. So he was presented his Medal of Honor by General Sherman at the cantonment at the Yellowstone and Tongue Rivers in the Montana Territory, and so that's where he got his stuff. So what's this question right here? Now the N1 of whenever, yeah, man. And normally what we do is we're not going to be broadcasting that Baconator. Normally what we do is we'll have pictures. Somebody will send pictures that usually it's the persons that will send us the information about these calls for attendances. We'll then all have a we'll then have it send pictures to us, and then we'll post like an after action review. We've done this before with that, so there you go. What was I going to talk about next? There's something else. Oh yeah, and what's up with the Alwyn Cash's Medal of Honor? I'm gonna say it right now. It's been so. I mean, we've gotten it approved. We've gotten it ready for presentation. We've already had one Medal of Honor recipient receive their Medal of Honor already, and I just want to know what's up with Alwyn Cash.
It's long overdue. I'm like, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
I mean, as long overdue as Alwyn Cash's is. Was it Colonel Puckett? Was that his name?
Correct.
That just got his. He was still living, so I can kind of see trying to push that one through first. Like, just me trying to like rationalize this in my head. because I'm sure Colonel Puckett will not be, living for 10, 15 more years.
No, I
He
gotcha.
can't wait that long. So
I gotcha.
I can see that. I'm not mad about it or anything.
Right.
But
Right.
it's time. It's
Yeah.
time. It's like they've passed all the legislation they need to do it, and it's just been one thing after another that's come in front of it. So.
Right. There was a lot of questions that came up during Memorial Day. Fort Stewart renamed their Martin Garden to, in honor of Owen Cash. So, again, that was pretty cool. We talked about it before already, but I just wanted to just throw a quick reminder. Hey, Owen Cash still has not had his award ceremony yet. And so, if Owen Cash, it's already past the 5-year window and was already upgraded. It was already, there's a lot of work being done to all this shit. So I just kind of want to know where the hell's at. I mean, we're not.
I mean, we can go drive by the White House.
Yeah, you say, hey.
I'm down.
We want to meme the White House? Someone said memes.
I mean,
who wants memes?
You're trying to get an award approved real quick, and you got to go knock on the colonel's door.
Right.
Hey, can you sign this real quick? I mean, we can just go, hey, Biden,
yeah.
sign this real quick.
Well, I mean, the
I'll
thing.
do it.
Yeah, I'm about to say we could swing by the White House and just kind of with a DA form 200.
Yes. Sign this too. So
Can you sign this? That way we know that you received the memes of Owen, so we can get Owen Cash and stuff. Right, but yeah, it's one of those things to where, oh man. So we are totally off the agenda of what we wanted to talk about, Spanky. What's?
We do what we want.
Are we gonna talk about it again?
I don't remember. Oh man, I'm burning up in here. It's like I don't know why this room gets so hot when I close the door, but my dog's out there making all sorts of noise. And
yeah.
So I was like, I had to close the door, and now I'm like, oh, I'm dying now.
Okay, so you wanted to talk about the this why task and purpose would why would they forsake us with this article that they talked about? You were as soon as you saw this, you kept tagging everybody, and you're like, what the hell? Why is this up here?
Seriously,
so,
they thought of me when they wrote this.
They had to have. So apparently, the military has its own full of languages, right? Buzzwords, acronyms, inserted phrases, and all this. From caveat to circle back to piggyback, plenty of words and phrases in the military with tears in our eyes to stop using. Everyone's talking about some of the what is it? Lethality, boots on the ground, top down, command message, behoove.
Oh, of course you had to throw that in there.
Focus up, zero in.
I don't know if it's just me, but I have never been one of those. Never used any of I can speak normal English. I've never
you could speak normal English,
even though I was in over 20 years. I never used these words.
Behooving intensifies.
No, there was no piggybacking, caveating, behooving. Look, and I'm saying them all now. I never used any of those words. I just used English. Just English.
Just English. For some individuals though, that's some of the if they learn that and they don't speak good English, I don't want to see it. I'm going to say this, and people can be like, "Oh man, they're going to clutch their pearls," because they say, "I said on WTF Nation Radio that people who use these words don't know how to speak English." No,
not saying that.
Not saying that. I'm just saying that Barney style, behoove, Blue Falcon. See, I kind of okay, look, Barney style. We all know what Barney style means, right?
Yes.
That's peel back the onion. It's
gosh.
Dingle dangle of excellence. So Barney style, that's kind of like that's a. What would you think is Barney style when you hear that term? Hey, how you doing, Mickey?
Break it down for a 3-year-old.
A 3-year-old can understand it, but some 3-year-olds would punch Barney.
They might.
The other one is behoove, a Blue Falcon, which is obviously a more polite term of saying buddy fucker,
right?
Meaning that they can screw over their teammates over and then, use a different phase and all that. A bucketize. I've not seen a bucketize, but I guess someone's saying put this in a bucketize to put things in buckets. Caveat.
In the area I live in, it has a huge retiree population. And some of them never give up that language. It's
right.
Stop it.
They just need to let go sometimes. Is that what you're saying?
You work at Walmart now. You don't have to use these.
You better bucketize all this feed And make sure you don't make memes from Cletus McFarland photos. Anyways, caveat. Everyone knows about the caveat stuff. A Charlie Foxtrot, which means clusterfuck, but everyone says Charlie Foxtrot because you can't say it. Just say it's clusterfucked and say clusterfuck. Check hold, which is some sort of red leg artilleryman's stuff. According to SOP, exactly that. According to SOP, you're SOL. That's right. Combat as a descriptor. There, that's another one. Compass check. Dagnammit, doggone it, daggone it, and daggone. Expedite. Guesstimate. However, comma, because everyone really wants to know what you're saying in text. That's how you would say it. I would love to have some of these things, like, you know how kids have troops have a pretty big imagination. Like, have someone just like a thought bubble of however, comma, how that would look like. Household 6, which is saying 6 obviously is the radio code for a commander, but saying household 6 meaning that your spouse is in command of the house. Hua, of course. Everyone's like, everyone knows that. Oh, man, I'm so glad we don't say Hua. I mean, we're kind of like the anti-Hua. We don't really.
Yeah, I never said that either.
We've never said.
It's just none of the. I just never picked up this new language.
How the sausage is made? I've used that. I have made that. That's on me. In accordance with IEW, someone says IEW. IEW. I was always wondering what someone was saying when that IEW. I'm like, what the hell are you saying? IEW, and because IEW and IEW, I'm like, what is this motherfucker? And then I'm like, dude, you gotta tell me what it is. Oh, in accordance with, dude, that sounds like. Okay, irregardless. That's another one. Which about that? Irregardless.
No. This is really upsetting me.
It is. This is like, and then we have op tempo. Op tempo to me is just, I don't know. It's just busy work. Is that what somebody?
We're busy.
My Joes used to say that. Op tempo is op. Yeah, my Joes used to say, my troops used to say that op tempo is officer speak for busy work. Because that's they want to make sure I was talking to some friends about that today, about white space on a calendar. We have to fill that white space up. Orientate. Open kimono.
Like, is that even a word?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just orient a map.
Orient a map, not orientate. Orientate yourself. Or open. See, this is I haven't heard this right here. Open kimono, which is, I guess it's a opening, revealing one's plan, which is like seen as a kimono, as a traditional Japanese garment, and opening it up means exposing yourself, like drop your pants or tell me your plan or some. So could you imagine if you said that? I mean, you'd say that open kimono.
I've never heard that.
I've never heard that. Yeah, it must be like a Marine Navy thing or something like that, because I've never heard Army people speak like that.
No, I've never heard that. Good.
Pacific.
I've just been like, huh?
Right, exactly. Pacific instead of specific. I've made fun of people on air about using the Pacific for specific of excellence. So of excellence is another one too. Damn it, of excellence is everything's the
Oh my gosh, lethality.
Yeah, lethality.
That's like the newest one.
Yeah. Piggyback. Soup sandwich. Everybody knows what soup sandwich. It's like saying football bat. It's like when you look at football bat. Could you imagine? I just pictured some of these things when I was a Joe. I was Special Ice one time, and I first started to say that thing's just about as fucked up as a football bat. And I'm just picturing in my head a bat that would be made to hit a football, and I'm thinking, I just start giggling. I first started to be like, "What the fuck? What's so funny, Special?" I'm just picturing a football bat first. Sorry.
I did so many push-ups.
Oh my god, yeah,
push-ups because
exactly.
I cannot keep a straight face when drill sergeants and leaders would be using all these words, and I'm just like,
right.
And I was like, what are you laughing at? You?
Exactly. Now here's the one that stumped them, and I wish they would have spoken to me about this. Is squared away. Now, squared away is a term that goes to Masonic lingo. If you are on the square, if you were squared away, it means like it has the compass in the square. It means you are on the square. That's a Masonic term. I'm surprised they didn't put it in there or didn't ask anybody what that mean. But squared away is a Masonic term, and everybody else can go, oh, what are you talking about? It means being squared away. It has a Masonic. That's what it means. That's that meaning of it. So when you say you're squared away, that's an old Masonic term of saying that person's upstanding. It's a good person. That person's good to go. You know what I mean? So some of the stuff in here, when I read the article and it said, what can we octagon away? Can we trapezoid away? I was kind of, what is away? So it's level and square. So that term actually is a little bit older army, like old school army, from the 1950s and shit. From the guys.
Well, that makes sense now. And again, it's not one I ever used.
Right.
Really,
so but that term has gone into what it means. It just kind of like it loses a little bit of meaning. It basically means squared away. That's on the square, and it's a Masonic term to say that you're upstanding, that you're good to go. And that's some of the terms that you hear. So it's also, some people would say that it would be a squared away to denote that person is a Mason, and it would be if someone was like, hey, do you know that person? He's in, I heard he was a cop. He's squared away. Or I heard that guy's a doctor. He's squared away. That was kind of like it's kind of like that term where you kind of, it gets a little bit loose there. And then it got termed to the military. It was used as words of saying you are good. You are a good soldier. Or like the term strack soldier, like how, we say that soldier strack. Well, strack means a strack soldier back in the day was one of the soldiers back in the time where we had a strack force. That means they're ready. They were good to go. They were polished. You know what I mean? So that's some of the terms that kind of really has a better term to it. Tracking, unsat, utilize.
Why is it unsat? Why can't you just finish the word?
Suck the egg. That busy. Suck the egg. Yeah, I don't want to tell you how to suck the egg. Why? I would never suck an egg to begin with. I would never,
That's just not advertising at all.
Exactly. It's not no. I don't know. I like poached eggs sometimes, or hard boiled eggs or something like that. But I just thought it was funny that whole meaning of it. I think it's awesome because you start realizing. Or 5x5. There you go. What does 5x5 mean? That someone told me that's a commo term. That is a specific sucks to suck. That's another one. Ricketic. There you go. I see all of them in there. The bigger ones on the Marines. Yeah, the Marines are like Yut and Hua and utilize exactly. Heather says, what was the other one? WTF Nation Radio Excellence, like Centers of Excellence. Excellent. As actually of excellence, there was a Duffel blog article about the Center of Excellence, and as soon as that came out, everyone, of course, we were laughing our asses off because the Army announced that it would stand up a teleworking Center of Excellence. Oh my God, dude!
I swear this whole hour is just how, not the whole hour, but this whole article is how can we make Spanky mad tonight?
It was.
I'm losing it here.
Centers of Excellency. Oh man. So did you hear? Somebody said this is another Duff blog article that the Taliban and ISIS are gonna they're gonna open up a joint terrorism center of excellence once we leave.
I love Duffel blog.
I know Duffel blog's hilarious, man. Other initiatives planned by the because we're rolling out, so they're gonna have the Center for Al Qaeda Lessons Learned or Recall. The JTCE, the Joint Terrorism Center of Excellence, it's gonna open up as soon as we leave. As soon as we leave Afghanistan. Oh man. Oh, this is hilarious.
Okay, I'm calming.
You're calming? Okay, we've calmed down. We had, we had a lineup of conversations to discuss before we went totally off track.
Yeah.
By our awesome fans. This is awesome. Yeah, I appreciate you guys and gals dropping that the yoo-hoo. Somebody said yoo-hoo, but anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and take a break right quick while we get Joe Buccino on here, spokesman for the 18th Airborne Corps, to discuss all this thing about DragonCannes. DragonCannes, like pronounced like con, like con, the Cannes Film Festival. Stupidly smashing con, that kind of con, not like con as in Con Air or there. You see, like those other acronyms. So anyway, so he's gonna be on here. He's gonna give us a buzz, and then we'll be here to chat. So everyone, go refill your glasses. Smoke if you got them. Recharge your vape cartridges. And we'll be right back. Shouts.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
the sirens are going off. Another rocket attack. I've got my boots and got my ammo in my 50-pound sack. Boys headed to war in this world unknown. The only peace of mind I've got are these letters from home. Another day attack. I've tried to talk and tell you about it, but it ain't the same. All these thoughts that run through my head, well, they can't be tamed. Another day has come and gone. Another night I'm all alone. I didn't think I'd be this far out here in Kandahar. Another day has come and gone. Another night I'm all alone. I didn't think I'd be this far out here. We ain't far from Kandahar.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
And we're back with our guest, Colonel Joe Buccino.
Hey.
Hey.
Good evening.
Spokesman for the 18th Airborne Corps, and also known as WTF Nation South.
Yeah.
Man, people ask me if you were an admin, and I was like, no.
People ask me that. I'm not an admin. Never have been.
But anyways, hey, welcome back.
For years, man, people thought that.
Yeah. Well, that's because we had it just, I don't know, you didn't, I don't want to say you didn't care about what people thought when you talked to us. You just were kind of like the ones that engaged us, and then we kind of like fostered that great working relationship with you, and then General Corilla came on board, and it just worked out. It just
worked out, man. Been doing it for 4 years now.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude, I feel old, man.
Yeah, man.
So, what brings you back here, man?
What brings me back? DragonCannes, man.
DragonCannes,
the greatest film festival.
Okay, now look, DragonCannes. When I first saw it come out, I'm thinking, wow, this is awesome. But I think someone's gonna get mad about I think DragonCannes is gonna get mad about you calling it DragonCannes. And in a twist of fate, DragonCannes endorsed you.
Yeah, that's right.
Could you tell us what happened with that?
Yeah. It was interesting, man. I am an ideas guy. You know that. I'm not, planning is not my thing, I'm a big picture guy, Ken.
Oh, the good old days, man, but go ahead.
That's right. So, we came up with this idea, Sergeant Major Mike Noggle, you know him.
Yep.
We came up with the idea of, we just had the title, DragonCon, and we didn't have a concept behind it. We didn't have a platform. We just didn't have a vision. All we had was DragonCon, and we thought, okay, this will be cool, and we started talking about it. We made videos, and we still never defined it. And even internally in discussion, we never defined it. And then we started getting closer and closer to the date of DragonCon. And we figured we'll make a film festival around DragonCon. And then, Alex Burnett, Master Sergeant in the 82nd Public Affairs.
Yep.
He last week he said, you should go with Cannes, as in conference, the Cannes Film Festival, because is a real DragonCon. And he showed me the video, and I said, okay, that's like genius, but I'm going to steal it and take credit for it. So.
You're such a...
So in the 11th hour, and we were calling this DragonCon, for months, and in the 11th hour we called it DragonCon, CANNES, as in the Cannes Film Festival, and the DragonCon people reached out and they said, "Oh, this is brilliant! Let's jointly promote this." And DragonCon, as you've just identified, DragonCon CON is a legit, some sort of a fantasy costume. I don't know what it is. Okay, I didn't really look. I looked at about like a minute of the video. But it's a legit big thing. And so they endorsed our DragonCon, and we endorsed their DragonCon. And we landed on this film festival idea.
Now, the film festival with this, first off, I love film, I love filmmaking, I love creative stuff. So you had, as soon as I saw that post, we had actually talked about this way back in the day. Anyway, I mean, but just like very, little off the top, nothing really deep. But you kicked it a little bit further by including the other organizations. What was General Correll's reaction when you pitched the story to him, pitched that idea to him?
Well, for I don't want to describe other people's reactions, Ken. I guess I just say that for us it's about engagement. That's our focus: engaging the people, bridging any kind of divide that exists out there, getting some back and forth. And so, 4th Infantry Division, 1st Armored Division, and a couple of others, 25th ID. There were a couple that reached out after we'd already started and said, hey, we want to get in on this. 4th ID and 1st Armored Division were the closest to being ready, and then so we included theirs. But we had 3 days of this. The way we had set it up, it was 3 days of the original content, 4 videos each day, and then a vote. So that we started that June 1st. So now we're in the 3rd day. We started that June 1st, which was Tuesday. 4 videos on Tuesday, and then a vote, a Twitter poll. 4 videos on Wednesday, and then a Twitter poll. And if you won that day, you go on to the finals, which is tomorrow. And then, I just thought, well, if we get additional content, let's do it the final original content day, which is today, Thursday. I hope people are following this the way I'm explaining it. 3 days of original content: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're now in Thursday. We're now in the final day. 4 videos each day, and then a Twitter poll for the fans, the audience, to determine the best video. And these are all hype videos.
Right now, that's the thing. So really, in a way, and I got to throw some NCO stuff on my head right now. Throw some NCO rank on. This is an opportunity for your PAOs and your visual information, your VI kids, to really exercise their stuff. Mm-hmm. How did you convince the other non-18th Airborne Corps units to participate? What was your...
Well, so I know, a friend of mine, Neil Alcaria in Fort Carson, and also, I know the commander there in Colorado Springs, 4th Infantry Division. And I just said, hey, this would be an opportunity. It's a bigger audience than you've got. It's a lot of people are looking at it. They had a video that was ready to go. They had a video that they used for their purpose that was ready to go. That I just said, you got to change a couple of things and make, because it was a little bit dated. They changed it really quickly, and they definitely wanted it in. Other people definitely wanted it in once they saw all the engagement we had on that first day. There was a lot of engagement on the first day, on Tuesday. So it got a lot of attention on Twitter, more attention than I thought it was going to get. And, for us, originally the idea was when we started it, we thought we have all these different subordinate separate brigades, and we've got 10th Mountain, 3rd Infantry Division, 101st and 82nd. So you got a lot of different capabilities. You got a lot of different, you got airborne, you've got air assault, you've got tanks in 3rd Infantry, you got mechanized infantry. So we just thought it'd be cool to see, just to show all these different capabilities over 3 days. And then when other units not inside the 18th Airborne Corps wanted to participate, we just thought, well, that's just going to make it even bigger, and we'll highlight that as well. And so, that was like I said, I'm not a good planner. That was like spur of the moment. Some of this stuff was like stream of consciousness. So it was spur of the moment.
No, it actually looked like you guys actually did a pretty good job just getting it all. Everything just lined up. And you had this modeled. I have your Twitter page up, by the way, so the audience could see it. You had this lined up pretty good, to where it was almost, someone said this is almost like this was like a ComCam March Madness, is what somebody told me what it was. Now that a lot of this work, some of it was from already pre-staged B-roll. I mean, how did you guys, like, I played your video at the beginning of the show. What was that a pitch already that you had? Was that something that you had going on? What was your for your video?
For our video, for the 18th Airborne Corps video, which we ran today and did not win today, although I did think it had, in terms of production value, I really did think it was the best of the videos we showed today, but it came in second place to the 82nd Airborne. That's something we'd been creating for a very long time. We've been putting that together for a very long time, and then we finally, this was a forcing function for us to finish it, to get some, there were some minor tweaks we had to make, and then, it was about 5 minutes, and we had to condense it down. You had to throw, as with a lot of these things, it's a lot of the hardest part is just throwing out some of the really good content and just editing it down. The separate brigades, about a month or 2 months ago, we told all the separate brigades, make a cool 2 minutes or 20-second capabilities video. And we didn't know exactly how we're going to roll it out. This is before we fully crystallized the DragonCannes idea. And so we had all those developed from the separate brigades. The separate brigades actually made them themselves, the ones you saw, 101st, 82nd, 10th Mountain, and 3rd Infantry Division. We went from our commander, General Carrilla, to their commanders, hey, you got a month to make a cool capabilities video, 2 minutes or 20 seconds in. And those are full public affairs teams. So they already had things off the shelf. They just had to really put it together and finalize it. So, we had that stuff ready to go, and then 4th Infantry and 1st Armored Division moved very quickly to put theirs together. I'm
planning without the as we're speaking right now. I'm playing them all right now. We're not obviously playing the sounds, but I'm digging this. Is there anything that you're gonna? This isn't like somebody said this is also a Joe Buccino. Someone said this is a Joe Buccino poaching of PAOs for his shop class, or I guess contest. I guess you're gonna assign some people to Bragg.
That's right. That's what I'm known for, man. You know what I mean?
You tried to post me, man, but I was retired. Did they have? I mean, I'm just looking at this is looking from years of working with visual information individuals and public affairs offices and IMPADs. This, to me, I think, this is great seeing all these products coming out the way. It just shows the evolution of the public affairs craft that I'd never seen before. I don't think anybody's seen before from the military. Do you think that this is just icing on the top, icing on the cake? Can we do more with some of these products?
Yeah. So what we're doing for, we haven't announced this yet, so we're announcing it right now. What we're doing for DragonCon 2, and we just settled on this idea with General Kurilla just today. We came up with the idea the last couple of days and then settled on it with the commander today. So what we're doing for DragonCon 2 is we're opening it up to basically anybody in DoD, individual or unit, and we're not focusing it on these kind of hype videos. It's give us a short film that's 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Tell us a video story inside of 2 minutes. Let's see a one-act play. Let's see a one-man performance. Let's see open it up to a more creative approach. Open it up to individuals plus units. And I think you're going to see just some kick-ass stuff out there. I think there's a lot of people that have a lot of ideas.
Well, you're already, because we're also going to talk about Dragon's Lair in a minute, but this is in a way I will say this is kind of like a stealth Dragon's Lair a little bit when it comes to visual information and the public affairs kids. I'll be honest with you. I that's what I think people want to hear more from the military. You don't really have a legit. And of course, all my PO friends are gonna. Well, you know me. I've always had. I want to say a friction point with Dinfos. I just think that or ACPA. I just think that there's a little bit restrictiveness on what the PA community can unleash.
That's right. Yeah, I think that what we try to do is to try to escape from the thinking of here's straight down the middle public affairs approach. Here's your information. Here's your talking point. Here's your hashtag message. Hashtag people first. Hashtag go armed. Hashtag, and get to the beating heart of the American soldier and identify with the American soldier. And I there are a lot of people who are doing that and who can do that. We want to give them a platform, and we want to see their content in September. We want to see their content compete, and we want to reveal it. We want to promote it on this grand scale that we've established.
Well, you guys are already gonna. I mean, we already got first dibs.
Yeah,
you've already announced that's what DragonCon 2 is going to be about.
Labor Day weekend. So get us your content by August 27th. By the end of August.
Yeah.
Get us a cool video.
Yeah, by the end of August. Now. So here are the parameters. Then it's got to be a 2 minute 20 second. Can it be? However, can it be a little bit longer than that so it can be posted on your? I'll we'll throw it out on Sergeant's Time. Well, we will announce the winner. We can have you come back on Sergeant's Time with the winning video, winning story, and we'll play it before you come on and talk about it, and or maybe have some of the guests or some of the individuals that won as a guest, if you'd like. I mean, I know the team would be supportive of it. We would be totally supportive of it.
I'd love that. Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's definitely do that.
Yeah. Well, I think that the thing is that they don't. I don't know. I'm sorry. I just don't like this is the way this shit's always been done type mentality. You know what I mean? That we just talked about forbidden words. We just talked about forbidden words or words that the military that just kind of like get you upset. And I don't like that either. I don't like this is what we've always been told or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure we can get you with our Hollywood correspondent too, CQ, to do it too, because that's his forte with film stuff, and we can get this in front of some Hollywood people too. Maybe get somebody to to knock it out. Just shit. This is awesome. I like this stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're gonna see, some high production value. I mean, you're gonna see some killer content, just some kick-ass content out there when we open this up. And the thing is now, we're in June, so we've got, all the month of June, all the month of July, all the month of August. So you've got 90 days really to put something together, to put a really good product together, and that is enough time. Particularly if there are folks out there who already have something that's in development or already fully developed.
Yeah, I think this is a good story. What do you hear? What do you hear from somebody asked about Owen Cash? I don't. There's a kind of a iffy conversation to have. But what's the status of Owen Cash? Can you, as a representative of 18th Airborne Corps, talk on that or?
I cannot obviously talk about the valor of Owen Cash, and he really is such a revered figure, and really just a thoughtful, appropriate, sensitive ceremony there 2 weeks ago in 3rd Infantry Division, renaming Cash Gardens. Beyond that, what's happening is something that would be beyond my purview. But,
gotcha.
We just know that it was a great moment to see, General Aguda and the 3rd Infantry Division, and I really will give credit to Lindsay Elder, Jason Hull, and Angel Tomko from the Public Affairs there in Fort Stewart for putting that together and getting the Cash family in to Fort Stewart for that ceremony.
No, that was awesome. Well, we covered that as well a couple weeks back too. It was definitely a good event. No, I totally understand that. That's kind of one of the. Because we were all of us together have been trying to just trying to get a little bit movement on there, and we're just seeing if you can say it, but if you can't, that's totally understandable. So go ahead. We just it was really great to see Colonel Ralph Puckett receive the Medal of Honor from President Biden in the White House. Colonel Puckett, a lot of people don't really think of him as an association with the 18th Airborne Corps, but he commanded 2 battalions from the 101st in Vietnam. That's right.
Was wounded, received the Silver Star from President Johnson. Lyndon Johnson pinned the Silver Star on him for his leadership in defending against a night raid in Chu Lai in 1967. So Ralph Puckett, another 18th Airborne Corps alum who is now received the Medal of Honor.
That was a great ceremony too. All that straight up was a great ceremony. Okay, now let's talk about Dragon's Lair. And this is the first Dragon's Lair I've kind of sat out. I have no idea what's going on for this Dragon's Lair, other than I saw one of the I guess the theme of it was something that was new to this Dragon's Lair. Could you tell us what that was about?
So the theme for Dragon's Lair Episode 4 was suicide prevention, and as we did for Dragon's Lair 3, the specific topic was prevention of sex assault and sexual harassment. In this case, it was specific to soldier suicide and stopping soldier suicide. And we had more responses to this one than we had to any other Dragon's Lair. And that there were a lot of ideas about this. Soldiers have been thinking about this. Soldiers have been affected by it. And they've considered solutions. They've considered policies and innovations that can be implemented. And so we had we culled it down originally to 9, and then from the 9 we brought 5 people forward. There was some redundancies in the 9 ideas, so we brought 5 people forward. And of those 5, we had, they were all very good ideas. There were 3 that we brought forward into the Corps staff for analysis and taking a look at implementation.
Now, some of these were they're not, how do I say this? These were upfront and more raw ideas that I've seen. Can you talk about what was pitched?
Yeah. So in three of the cases, three of the cases were based on an actual soldier suicide or a personal tragedy. So we, in one case, we had a soldier, Sergeant Mies Brockman, staff sergeant on Fort Bragg, whose father took his own life just 8 months ago. And so that was something that she was still really traumatized with. And her idea for this was to bridge a gap between behavioral health and the unit command. So in her experience, and she obviously, this obviously comes out of, an incredibly traumatic personal event. So I'm speaking for her because she's not on this call right now.
Right.
And doing it the best justice I can. But in her situation, she took leave, and then the leave wasn't helping. She took leave, and she had no outlet for this dark cloud around her. So she came back to work, and she had no real. She kept telling her command what was happening, and she had to explain it to different people, and talk to one leader and then another leader how she was processing it, what happened with her father, what she was doing, and that telling of it was just emotionally draining to her, was just becoming exhausting. And she also had no lexicon to describe what she was going through. She's not a behavioral health specialist. She's just processing things. And so her idea was to have the behavioral health specialist that was working with her communicate directly with the command under her approval. And I didn't realize, and a lot of people in the room didn't realize, that there's a real gap there. There's a real communication gap. And obviously there's a firewall in
right.
between behavioral health and command for things like this. But it's something that can be bridged by the soldier's approval. Legally, you can do it. She explained a process to simplify that and to make it easier on the soldier. Obviously, in a case where a soldier is suffering, you just want to make it easier.
Right.
You want to simplify things. And so that was her idea. So that was one idea. Another idea came from Captain Kristen Bell, who works in Joint Base Langley, Eustis, Virginia. Kristen Bell had a soldier named Jack Chafee. I didn't know this story. I'd never met the soldier. Staff Sergeant Jack Chafee took his own life last year. Her idea around this was to make behavioral health checks mandatory, in the same way that you got to go to the dentist, you got to get your teeth checked every 6 months, you got to get your eye exam, you got to get your hearing checked. In her idea, you have to go to a behavioral health specialist, not your primary care physician, but to a behavioral health specialist to get checked every 6 months. Okay. And in so doing, it would normalize or have an effect towards normalizing seeking help.
This is awesome, because there was an impression out there that it was going to be run like how you do freaking your SRP without with this, you know what I mean? Because a lot of the issues that the force is facing, I know, because we get a lot of it over the Memorial Day weekend. We had a couple of battles in distress that we spoke to, and a lot of it is they don't want to talk to the command, or they don't want to talk to somebody who's not qualified to help them, because it ends up going to somebody mistranslated and spoken completely out of context, and that's not what the individual said when he said they wanted to, or he or she said wanted to talk. So there was a concern that it was going to be, it was just going to be some Joe Medic, you know what I mean, filling out the information. But you just made it clear now that's not what she wanted to have. She wants to have an actual licensed behavioral therapist, right? That's
right.
Okay.
That's right. And I just want to address somebody here on the Facebook here, Heather Elizabeth, is just talking about so many communication gaps in the military, and nobody wants to run it down, and so it ended. Okay, so I'm going back to Sergeant Mies Brockman. That's kind of her is that like in some cases her idea is that the soldier is burdened with explaining, why. In her case, she couldn't go to the range. Now that's a really sensitive thing that I don't want to explain there, but the way her father died, she couldn't go to the range in that moment. She couldn't do it. Emotionally she couldn't do it. And so should the soldier have to explain that, or can behavioral health pick up that burden from the soldier explaining to the command? So I just want to explain it. And then going to Kristen Bell, you're right. Yeah, her idea is that the soldier goes in, sees behavioral health. It normalizes the idea of treatment. First of all, there's only good things can come from more people going to see behavioral health, more people talking to behavioral health. And then it also, beats back the stigma.
Right.
Any remaining stigma on this. So that was her idea.
Right. That's why I'm glad, because I had audience members ask me, I'm just not gonna, it's bad enough that I got to go to somebody for a broken leg or a broken foot or I jacked up my shoulder, and then they don't listen to me. You know what I mean? There was some hesitancy. That's the hesitancy right now. It's that the force is having to have dealt with individuals who are not qualified, normally a chain of command, to tell them that whatever their medical needs, this is what you should do, when they're not qualified to give those diagnoses. That's why I'm glad you cleared that up, because there was a real hesitancy, thinking that she was talking about just going to SRP, having someone do a check the list, and then it gets spread. It's just like, exactly. Mike's got a good point too. It takes more than one session, and usually it'll be something that.
Let me answer to that. So
go ahead.
Let me answer that. But how do you start that process? You start the process by going to behavioral health that first time.
Correct.
And then the behavioral health digs in, makes a diagnosis, come back. You've got to come. Well, yes, that. Every 6 months is not going to solve a deep-rooted problem for a soldier, but it could get the soldier on glide path towards that. And how else would you do that?
Right. But the thing, and that was the point that I was making for the audience, that some of the hesitancy is they're worried that a chain of command will say, and then you're right, that was part of the stigma as well, is they were saying that, well, this person goes to behavioral health a lot, maybe there's something wrong, and they were interfere, or they were getting involved. Maybe I'm going to go ahead and send them to NTC or JRTC anyways because they need the number. That was the hesitant. That's why I said I'll ask you. I just figure I mean, you're going to come on air and talk about other stuff, but I'm gonna be upfront and ask you. That literally is what it was. Is that the force wants to ensure that's who they're talking to, as somebody who was qualified to make the referral and brief the command, and not have anybody who was not in that treatment cycle to interfere with their, because that's a sensitive topic. It's a little bit different there when you start dealing with that type of treatment, to where a wrong thing said or a wrong course of action taken by someone who's not in that treatment process can then totally it'll just backfire on them, if that makes any sense.
That's right. And one thing Kristen Bell said, as she described it, I think really, really well. She stood in for her idea in a really thoughtful way. She said, you don't go to the company medic to get your teeth checked. You go to the dentist to get your teeth. You have to do it. It's mandatory.
Exactly.
So for behavioral health, you have to go to a behavioral health specialist. So, that was her idea. We had another idea, Colonel Will Bimson, who's our corps surgeon and is a wonderful guy. His idea was focused on on the spiritual component of the soldier, the spiritual health of the soldier. And so, I think sometimes when you think about spirit or the spirit world or the spiritual well-being of a soldier, I think people sort of get a little bit defensive about it. But
you're talking about religion. You're talking about an actual somebody who's religious, right? Or that type of.
He is religious,
right?
Colonel Gibson is religious, but he the spiritual well-being could be, first of all, it's non-denominational, so it's any religion.
That's good.
And then it also could be tied to a sense of greater purpose. That's not with an identified religion. It could be with becoming one with nature, having a greater understanding of the natural world. something that places the soldier into a broader meaning and a broader purpose somewhere in the universe. And so, he talked about, we focus on physical health and we focus on behavioral health, but we don't focus on spiritual health. And it really was the most of all these ideas. His was the most developed. He's been working on it literally for years, and it was the most idea. Now it was the most developed idea. Now the problem with that is that within his idea, you're adding another requirement to the command without taking anything away. So that's something, that's something you've got to, there's some things that through his idea that have to be fully
right. But you're just talking about inner, like what it would be like considered inner core beliefs, like you know what I mean. It's this. I know exactly what he's saying without being overly religious, but still having the spirit of willpower, the spirit of, you know what I mean. I know exactly what he means, but it's
that's right. And if a soldier finds meaning in religion, then
so be it.
Embracing that.
Right.
Yeah.
So be it. But I think that the thing is that maybe that's the grip that chaplains need them to do more of being more of the inner core definition of somebody's being, as opposed to throwing a religious aspect to it. Because I think that's what also is another. Because a soldier is pretty is getting a battery of information daily from leadership, from family, from whatever. Name whatever sensor comes in. A soldier is going to be affected by it. I think. Yeah. This idea that he has is long, just like Kristen had her idea, as long as it's assured that nothing's going to be pushed upon them, then I think that'll probably be a good practice. Mm-hmm. I guess you're saying. You know what I mean? It's like you said. It's really hard to articulate that. When you say live, laugh, love. I don't want to like make fun of somebody's issues or when it comes to or take light of their situations when it comes to some deep depression issues. That sometimes understanding what your inner core spiritually without getting too religious. I don't know. It's hearing it from a chaplain. You're thinking, oh man, this guy's gonna make me go to mass. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
But that explanation will at least allow the audience themselves, because I see the audience already interacting about that. Mm-hmm. It's not to get preachy, but it's everyone has their own little specific method, belief, strength, and a willpower to persevere. Everyone has their own specific method of perseverance and all that, and then we even have a religious comment in there too. So it runs the gamut. A chaplain would be able to run it, whether it be a chaplain of Christian, Muslim, rabbi, Jewish faith. Mm-hmm. I've talked to all three types of chaplains, and they've all just shooting the breeze, and it's been I've never had any issues. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so his idea was really he had a lot of detail in his idea. I think Kristen Bell's idea was simpler. I mean, I think there's one component to her idea, and it was pretty simple. We had two other ideas that were a little more complicated. But bottom line is we had 5 great ideas. But what I thought was really valuable, and aside from the presentation of these ideas, is that we had representatives from the Army's People First Task Force here that came from D.C., came from the Pentagon, to sit in on this and take the ideas back to the broader Army. We had, in addition to that, we had TAPS, the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, the director of Suicide Prevention and Postvention Resources, a fellow named Matt Mabe, former Army officer. He was on the Dragon's Lair panel and gave some great insight to the command and to our 5 presenters. And then we had Dr. Erin Yauman Watkins, who has been focused on the idea of soldier suicide for years and years and published a lot of scientific papers about it. She was really looking at it from the scientific research and analysis angle. She's from Atlanta, Georgia. In addition to that, obviously we had our command team was there. We had Command Sergeant Major Mario Torinas from 10th Mountain Division, climbed to Glory 7, the CSM there. And we had a few other leaders in there as well. So we had a really diverse group of, uniform leaders, civilian leaders. We had a colonel from ForceCom, People First Task Force. And so we had a lot of people there who had thought very deeply about this problem and can give some great insight.
That's good. Now, I mean, this you can only keep improving with these Dragon Lair stuff. What's the and you can't count DragonCon as a Dragon's Lair, even though it is a PAA, VI, ComCam. What's the next Dragon's Lair in the breach?
So for Dragon's Lair Episode 5 in September, we're going to go back to the broader innovation, which was the original emphasis for Dragon's Lair. We're going to go back to, ideas writ large, like we had for the episode that you sat on, or the episode you promoted.
Yeah.
Any idea that you've got across the 18th Airborne Corps, across the Army, we want those forward. New systems, processes, warfighting innovations, technology. That's what we want to bring forward to Dragon's Lair. In the meantime, between now and September, we are really going to work our asses off on getting to implementation with some of the ideas that have been presented. We have a lot of ideas that are in the pipeline somewhere on the glide path towards implementation, and we want to get some of them all the way through and then highlight that, because I think that's a strategic message, that we've taken these ideas all the way through the glide path and fully implemented them across the Corps. So we've implemented some of the ideas. When you saw the idea from Trevor Cross,
yep,
was the winning idea in Episode 2, the skid steer attachment. That's at full implementation in 18th Airborne Corps. It's just not in every single motor pool.
Correct. I just run a real quick. I just wanted to answer one of the comments. Heather, the soldiers are pressing something with some issues, and it's fielded throughout their Dragon's Lair website. So a lot of ideas that are being presented in front of the panel. There's also other ideas that are taken from that website when Colonel Buccino puts it out. So it isn't really a missed opportunity. It's more of a okay, we have these prime ideas that are being pitched to influencing individuals within the U.S. Army and 18th Airborne Corps to implement, which obviously will end up, usually 18th Airborne Corps is back in the day, it used to be Force 21, 4th ID. Now I think it's opposite. Now I think 18th Airborne Corps is usually the first of the units that implement something that ends up going throughout the Army, and so it's going to take time for a lot of these innovations and ideas. So it is, to some, may look like a missed opportunity because it's a small group of people, but these people that are being briefed, or these people that are having these ideas pitched to, are influential people within the Army and the 18th Airborne Corps to execute across the force. So it's not really so much of a... I thought the same. I was like, it's only going to be for the 18th Airborne Corps. And then until I sat on the board of one Dragon's Lair, and then I was able to participate on the admin behind-the-scenes side with another Dragon's Lair, I got to see in action a lot of the key influencers that were able to propagate that message. So it wasn't really for naught, if that makes any sense. So I just wanted to make sure, I just want to make sure.
Right, and we just did this last week.
Right.
So, it's going to, the implementation is going to, in terms of calling it a missed opportunity, let's look 3 months from now before we call it. It just happened, so we've got to go through the legal review, we've got to go through staffing review. If we implement Kristen Bell's idea, do we need additional force structure? Do we need additional behavioral health assets? Do we have the throughput capacity at these clinics? There's some analysis that has to be done
right
before we implement.
Well, there's one of the panel, one of the when I sat on was the integrated soldier one where he had the, you know what I mean? It's a he had that battlefield integrated system. You know what I mean? It's just it was one of those impressive things. The medical guy where you could do triage.
Oh yeah, Sergeant Major Rafael Colon Hernandez.
Yeah. Colon Hernandez, yeah, and he had this It was almost like Pete Singer's Burn-In book moment, with the goggles and augmented reality. That right there, I know obviously was a great pitch and probably could have gotten shelved up to another position, but it's to me it's just one of those things that's just like, wow, some of these ideas pitched, you just can't. There's no way. Somebody would probably have told the force, if you look at, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, if you said, hey, we're going to have a panel and we're going to have everybody from this command sit in this panel and they're going to listen to a specialist.
Well, think about it this way. We had a private first class who's been in the Army for 7 months.
Right.
Presented. He was the only one who did it remotely. He couldn't be there in person, but he presented his idea. He was the first one up. He presented his idea to a 3-star general corps commander, a corps command sergeant major, all those people I just mentioned, the 10th Mountain Division, and he looked him in the eye. He presented his idea. Yep. He did great. So it's about empowering the soldier and empowering the idea.
I can't get again. I could not have had. You could not have seen this back in the day. Yeah. You probably would have been in trouble if you walked up as a PFC and ran into a conference room and pitched this. Hey, sir, here's what I want to talk to you about. And then you'd be like, there'd be, I don't know, 4 levels of CSMs behind him.
Yeah. Well, the mark of success here is that 3 Corps on Fort Hood is doing Phantom Lair. 1st Armor Division is doing, some version of 1st Armor Division later, right. whatever the Iron Lair.
Iron Lair, yeah. Why are you dissing on 1AD, man? You guys.
But my point is, other units are doing this.
Gotcha.
For the good of the Army.
Well, General Donahoe's like trying to stock some claims, saying that he was the first one to start up with it. I don't know. There was some friendly.
Is he saying that?
Friendly banter back and forth. I'm just talking shit. He did say everything's better at bending, and I think he tried to throw that message. I'll have to get him back on here to.
How many ideas did they implement?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not. But I think they did. They did it as well. I think they did one. I think they had one advertised as well that they participated or held a bending lair. I guess something to that effect. Because I remember it was just after that they were talking about it. After we did ours. After we did the sexual assault, sexual harassment one.
Yeah, that's right.
But. That's right. Yeah. So, anyways, so we got DragonCon. We have Dragon's Lair coming up. This now the inner core for a lot of you guys and gals that don't remember, the original inception of Dragon's Lair was just to pitch ideas, like you said, and innovations that could help the force and also help the Army. Have any of it so far, Joe? Have you seen it grow? Have you seen it like actually with numbers and people getting, hey, this is, PFC came up with this, or have you seen some of the stuff come across the force so far? Because I know you guys just not really picking a winner. You're really trimming down processes anyways. Have you seen results in some of these?
We really have. I think that after we did the second one, the one that you sat as a panelist, we had a lot of people in the Army and Department of Defense calling in and looking at some of these ideas. For that one, we had the skid steer attachment. We had Sergeant Ashley Savage's idea.
Oh, that was an incredible
app site. That was great. That one almost won.
That one, yeah, that was a close one between her and the skid steer.
That was a close one, and she will get promoted to Master Sergeant on this coming Monday.
That's what I'm talking about.
Sergeant Savage. But yeah, so a lot of those ideas are percolating. Now, the very first idea, the Rangefinder app, which is the idea that won episode 1, Major Evan Adams from the 101st, his idea for Rangefinder app, which is a mobile app that allows you to coordinate and basically coordinate for land and training areas in real time on your phone, and also dialogue with other units that are out in training areas, dialogue with range control, and make changes en route. So, that has been accepted into the Army's cloud, C-Army, which is the Army cloud, accepted by ECMO, Enterprise Cloud Management Office of the Army. It's the first soldier-developed concept that's been accepted into the Army cloud, and we are most of the way there. In fact, that app actually does exist. It does interface with RIFMIS, the traditional website.
Right.
It needs a little bit more in the processing, and we'll be all the way there with the Rangefinder app. Some of the other ideas we're moving out on. Interestingly, in terms of episode 3, the sex assault, sexual harassment, on that one, I actually, we've implemented, and very publicly, this has been Task and Purpose has written about this, Army Times, National Public Radio has talked about this. We've implemented some form of every policy that was recommended. So we made 7 policy changes. We're very public, very open about this. Made 7 policy changes to our sexual assault and sexual harassment prevention policy, in some cases to our military justice policy, based on the ideas we received. And then the one technology that was raised in episode 3 was virtual reality training, that was raised by Staff Sergeant Shamika Dudley.
Yep.
Next, either this month or next month, so in the next 45 days, we are doing a test run on the virtual reality training. So we're going to have
awesome.
300 soldiers in Fort Bragg, are going to go through that training. So, and then from there, it's a matter of, purchase of the devices. Then it becomes kind of a contract.
Right.
Once you settle on, here's the scenario, we agree on this scenario for the training, and we agree on this technology. Basically, just a contracting process, and that takes time.
Here's my okay.
Yeah.
Darn it! Now you make me want to get involved again.
yeah. Episode 5, man.
Not with this one. I think we should go to another. I think what should happen is Dragon's Lair. I like the way it's been done. It seems like it's been going off and on, back and forth with processes / innovations, and it goes back and forth. So one episode is processes, another episode's innovations, another one's, you know what I mean? Here's one that's going to get everybody riled up as soon as I say it. Housing. Housing. If there is a Dragon's Lair with ideas pitched for housing, I think you'll probably get a lot. I know it's going to be hard because you have contracted, there's the military contracts housing out and all that, but I think housing, would be something to have. I don't know. It's hard to deal with IMO when it comes to something like that. You know what I mean? It's hard to, because doesn't IMO have some sort of contracting already with government contracted housing, and then in some installations it's different. How does that work? I mean, these are all just questions that I think that if a process for housing when it comes to unaccompanied housing when you PCS, having some level, because there are some installations that house students in their housing area as opposed to having housing there, and then you have a wait list for people who are PCSing to another installation, but they can't. Well, they have students from name your Bullock in the housing area occupying it. So there's got to be something that's different. You know what I mean? There's got to be something, because when somebody PCSs overseas, they get paid DLA, TLA, name your whatever, a housing allowance, and they have to be put in they're put in different temporary quarters, and those temporary quarters are signed for whatever. It doesn't seem to work very good over here. I don't know what it is, but it's just odd for that, how that works, if that makes sense. It's I think the whole process of somebody PCSing overseas is I have rarely have had, because I've been stationed overseas a few times. That's really not been an issue. It's always when I PCS back, or I've tried to request housing coming back to Fort Hood or Fort Bragg or Fort Benning or Fort Stewart or Fort Carson. I've always had issues of, well, there's a wait list. Oh, why is there a wait list? And then you come to find out as you get into social media and you find out, well, that's because you know, the people from this school that's where they put all their lieutenants for Bullock, and I'm thinking that's housing. That's housing, or housing conditions, housing work orders, housing maintaining a property. It goes back to that. Well, it's the way it was always been done. That always gets. Well, you're never going to be able to get that. And I hate just like God, dude. It just kind of like it just. We can't. We're doing. It's like we do so much great innovation for soldier equipment, innovations with Dragon's Lair, innovations with what we're discussing with processes, innovations with mental health. We're trying to improve our holistic health. You know, for the ACFT, which is another hot button topic. But yet it's kind of skewed because we've not fixed the Army body composition program. You know what I mean? You're getting a culture of individuals to bulk up to do this specific bulking up exercise and test, and then we're still taping them to a standard of what, you know what I mean? we're taping them for hey we're gonna work out your thighs and we're gonna work out your glutes. Now it's time to tape you on the same place. You know what I mean? For especially for women. So that whole. A lot of it's almost like we get great at a lot of the stuff, and man, it's just so. It's just jacked. It just literally it's when you have somebody the frequency of individuals showing up from overseas. My biggest beef is the overseas one, because you had people coming in overseas and then they're like, okay, now you're home. You don't have to worry about staying in government housing because now you can't find a hotel, and then your finances and stuff like that. Because we could go into another process, another Dragon's Lair for. Finance and dealing with finance or DTS. We could go on, Joe. We can go on for years.
We can go on for years. Well, you know, I would say first of all, you've turned Heather Elizabeth around. She's now on your side.
Oh, is she? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So, and I support Heather Elizabeth. But I'm just saying. But you know, all of those ideas I think can be presented at the next Dragon's Lair without a specific focus on these things. I think one thing I would say is that the innovation Dragon's Lair, like the Rangefinder app, that is something that takes a very long time to get to implement. Whereas a process thing and something that can be resolved by the 3-star general who commands the Corps and commands the installation. That obviously is much faster.
Right.
Now, you need a legal review, you need to staff it, and then you implement. Whereas something like the Rangefinder app, where we don't have, you know, a force structure or a staffing component or a line item for that, a budget line item for that you know, that it just takes a very long time. And so, you know, we appreciate people's patience with the Dragon's Lair process, and that in good faith, you know, we said we were going to implement these things, and we legitimately are implementing them. So, but you know, these other ideas, inefficiencies, problems, if people have solutions, you know, soldiers do have solutions. Heather Elizabeth has a solution. The way into our solution and the way into our Dragon's Lair is through our website, the Dragon Innovation Program website.
Yeah.
Which is a third-party website. It requires a password. Basically, you got to make an account, but making the account takes literally a minute. It's NSIN. If you Google NSIN, 18th Airborne Corps, you know, that's the website. You go in there, you submit. You know, here's my problem, here's my solution. You got to have a problem, you got to have a solution. You can't just give us a problem.
Right.
You know, here's my inefficiency and here's my efficiency. And that gets into the 18th Airborne Corps Innovation Program, either through Dragon's Lair, through our Monday Commander's Update Brief, through Innovation Council, you know, things that go on that website, and they can be from anybody. You don't need a CAT card. You don't need to be a soldier. Things that go into that website get reviewed for action. There you go. All right. So I just
dropped it. Yeah, I just dropped it in the chats so everybody can look at it. And then, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna highlight it on the screen capture right now, so that way we're all looking. Everybody's looking at it right now. That way we can all screen capture it together.
Right. Now you got to go in there. You make an account, but you don't need. There's no other firewall to get in, and making an account takes literally a minute.
Yeah. Now you've actually improved it. I remember this whole looks like it flows a lot better than the last time.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and we've got so many ideas in that we've created separate microsites and separate subordinate pages to house different categories of ideas. That main page, though, that you're looking at right now, that main page is really, Ice took your job. Now Heather Elizabeth is declaring the next Dragon Slayer. I didn't know she had the authority to do that.
I think she's crowdsourcing, man. She's getting everybody.
Dragon Slayer, yeah.
Hey, better to have cheerleaders on this, man, than people who are haters. Because I'll be honest with you, there's some people that literally were like, yeah, whatever, AT that work, whatever, Buccino, whatever. This ain't gonna work. Yeah, whatever. Next slide.
Yeah. Right, but okay. Those are people who would naysay every.
Right, exactly.
I mean, look, there are some people you're just not going to please.
Right.
And I guess that's okay. But if we have a new platform for soldiers, a new innovation for soldiers, a new way for soldiers to get their ideas to the command, why wouldn't you applaud that?
Right, exactly.
Now, one thing I did find is, on Reddit, if you search for Dragon Slayer on Reddit, you search for my name on Reddit, there are a lot of soldiers talking about this, and they're talking about it positively. And they were talking about, socializing their own ideas they were going to implement, and there's a lot of good discussion. I wasn't really on or paying a whole lot of attention to Reddit, and I'm not saying Heather Elizabeth is a troll. I
just want you guys to know that Buccino gets involved with the audience just like everybody else does, guys. So don't think you're just going to comment and run. Oh man,
it's definitely a huge issue. But like I was saying, another PAO in Alaska, he sent me this Reddit link. And so I've gone in there, and troops are, people are talking about it there. People are talking about it on Fort Bragg. On Fort Bragg, when I stop soldiers and talk to them about it, they know what Dragon Slayer is.
Right.
So, people are talking about it, and only good things can come out of that.
Exactly. Joe, we can go all night, dude. And again, thank you so much for shooting the shit with us and giving us a wide angle lens of DragonCon and of course Dragon's Lair. So it's always a pleasure to have you come on.
Yeah, man. Thanks to you, to Spanky, man. We covered a lot of ground here, man.
We always do. We just can't. I mean, just the way we are. Again, I try to tell everybody you try to poach me out of retirement, and it didn't work. So Morgan didn't.
And I want to see Heather Elizabeth on Dragon's Lair episode 5 in September.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, Colonel Joe Buccino, spokesman for the 18th Airborne Corps. We're going to go ahead and take a break right quick, and we'll be right back. So everyone go refill your glasses, recharge your vape tubes. Everyone get some shots. We'll be right back. Shots.
Hello, Mama. Hello, Daddy. I've got something that I've never said before. Went down south of the border. Now life, it's got a little harder for me. I fell in love with some girl. She told me that she was gonna rock my world. Now I'm stuck here with no money. Don't that just sound a little funny for you? Well, her name was Maria. She told me she was always by my side. Went home one evening. She was with another man. He tried to run and hide. I pulled out my 45. I told them that I was gonna take their life. Now I'm stuck here on the run. I don't know the animal I have become, so won't you save me? Save me! Won't you save me? Save me! Won't you save me? Save me! Won't you please put me out misery. Well, I know life is short. Mom, you know I always try to do my best. Should've listened when you told me I wouldn't be caught in this mess. Gotta go now, Dad, I'm sorry. Everybody, all y'all need to know this is life, a true story. When you chase ass down in Mexico, save me, save me. Won't you save me, save me, save me, save me. Won't you please put me out of my little misery? Out of my little misery. Well, it's been 10 long years your sun has shined my face. Since I made my way out west, since I've been tied to fate. Here don't hold a candle to that home I left behind. I need that southern comfort to ease my troubled mind. I hear people saying you can't never go back home. I don't think they've ever lived this life I've come to know. But this'll be my resting place, no matter where I roam. So if I die before I get there, won't you send my body home? So take me back, baby, where the child in me lives and breathes. Take me back, mama, way out past New Orleans, where it's dark at night except the pale moonlight. The swamp plays a perfect scene. So take me back, mama, way out past New Orleans. Well, it's been 10 long years since your sun has shined my face. Since I made my way out west, since I've been tied to fate. Here don't hold a candle to that home I left behind. I need that southern comfort to ease my worried mind. So take me back, baby, where the child in me lives and breathes. Take me back, mama, way out past New Orleans, where it's dark at night except the pale moonlight. The swamp plays a perfect scene. So take me back, honey, way out past New Orleans.
that's really a thing, and I get authorized to do it once, it's pretty much going to be me sitting there talking shit, like, constantly.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
And we're back. Dun, dun, dun. On our last portion of Sergeant's Time. I keep forgetting this is the third hour of Sergeant's Time. Man, holy shit.
Right?
Been blabbing. Anyways, thanks again to Colonel Joe Buccino and, of course, General Carilla for letting him hang out with us again on Sergeant's Time. However, if you guys have any ideas that you want to pitch or you want to talk to or have presented, we have provided you the link inside the chats, and of course you can go check out and follow the 18th Airborne Corps DragonCannes. Yes, DragonCannes, spelled with a con, like cons. Yes, noodly. You can follow them also on their Twitterage, and they do a lot of engagements on Twitter as well. So if you've not seen their Twitter page, I'll put it back up there again for the audience to see. DragonCon, yeah, I just think the way they did DragonCon, yes. And their @ is @18 Airborne Corps. All together, no spaces, no underscores. All there you go. And then, of course, you can always check out their site where you can look at and pitch your idea in there. I know that was my stuff. That my biggest thing now should be the housing shit. It seems like we've always been talking about housing and posting videos in housing, but people are still having any conditions. You know, you've been around Fort Hood around a little bit.
Oh yes.
Have you seen some of the? Does it look like they're changing? I mean, does it look like it's changed at all, or?
No.
No.
No. I mean, they did go like a bunch of new houses over, in, I still will forever call it 4AD land, but in 3CR land.
Right.
And I've never been in any of those houses, but the houses I lived in, when I did live in housing, I lived in housing on the Hood twice. They were like the old houses, like out in Montague Village, and then I can't remember, Chaffee something. Anyway, and I didn't have like the problems they have in these newer houses,
right?
Like the mold and this, that, or whatever. I mean, yeah, they were shitty old houses, but they were better than like the brand new ones that were just put together, with, I don't know, plywood. Something.
And that's
they're just falling apart.
Yeah, and that's the
ones that have been there for years and years and years and years.
Right, but
instead, I didn't have problems like that.
I didn't. That whole mold shit. I don't remember. Yeah. I've lived on housing in some instance. I don't remember it being. It's almost like if you're in a state that has issues with mold, why don't you go across the street to a building of where a commercial place that doesn't have mold issues and ask them, hey, what's your secret, man? So that way you don't have any black mold. You know what I mean? You would think
right.
There would be,
and we're not a very moldy place,
Right.
We're not like the Hood's not humid, or usually it is
right.
for a little while, but it's not like all summer long like it is like in Florida or something.
Right.
But so I don't know what they build, like those newer houses. Like I would say the ones that have been built in the last 15 years, like those are the ones that are all falling apart.
Right,
like
exactly.
All the videos and stuff I see, and even been in some of those houses, those are the ones that, yeah, you can like trip and like go through a wall.
Well, yeah, and a lot of it is again, a lot of it is where they're, like you said, they're. I mean, I've seen housing in Leavenworth. I've seen housing. I've never seen the mold shit until just recently. It's almost like this is kind of new, but I mean, not really new, but well, hell, I wouldn't say that's not really new. It's just almost like did we have some sort of different? Are we just catching this shit now, or is it just now because of social media it's become more prevalent? You know what I mean?
Probably some of both, because obviously you see everybody's issues now.
Right.
You only hear about them from time to time, even though they were probably just happening just as much.
Right.
I
guess I don't, like you were saying, I don't remember when I was, coming up through the ranks, having issues with the mold stuff when I lived in housing myself, when I lived in, some, I just don't. I don't know if is it the materials that are building. We got crappier materials to build with. Or we just don't care. What's the deal? What was the genesis of all this shit?
I don't know. And I've lived in housing as recently as 2015-16 at Campbell. And I did live in like newer housing there, and you could tell it was like built pretty cheap, but I didn't have any problem like with mold or anything like that.
Right.
So I don't know if it was as widespread on Campbell. And then before that, the last time it was, and I've lived on housing in Fort Riley too.
Yeah. No, it
short time.
Yeah, I just didn't like it when someone was like, "Whoa, this has always been happening." If this has always been happening, then why we ain't fixing it? Or what's the before we spend money on an ACFT, before we spend money on getting equipment for soldiers to do an ACFT, how about you fix molding first? How would you molding? Yeah. How would you fix and that's something it's almost commonplace now that you hear about molding. Oh god, here we go. Ice is talking about mold again. Shit, you better. WTF Moments is always talking crap, and they still memes from Cletus and Farming. So you might as well just shut up, It gets tiring, man. It really does. You see this shit, and you see somebody posted some pictures, even in the Stars and Stripes, and you're just like, are you for real? Is some of this mold crap? Why has this been here for so long? We've had guests coming on here. We have had our Army leaders testify before Congress, and they're really not really doing shit. I mean, Comanche.
I don't see it.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm gonna say.
I said I don't see it. I see them renovating the barracks here on Hood.
Right.
So, but
just the barracks,
I don't know
though.
what they're doing with the housing.
We do have friends of the WTF Nation that some of them work on installations doing that type of work, and the pictures that we get are always. We need to do another housing roundup.
We'll have to work that.
We'll have to work another housing roundup of hey, look at this.
Yeah, remember this?
Remember this? Y'all. You were saying y'all is gonna fix on it. This is really specific to this region. No, I'm sorry, I'm messing up the. But again, I just want to know why all of a sudden it just got to the point where it's just so bad, and these are newer homes that get this shit built, and they're like, people were like, you always have the do it yourself, just like how you have Facebook lawyers talking about a meme. I'm sorry, I keep going back to Cletus McFarland. You go back to you have them Facebook lawyers and Facebook doctors and Facebook behavioral health people. they're in there in the chats and they're all talking, but I've yet to see anybody come up with, hey, well, in Florida, when I had a house or we had a build, it had to be built under a specific code for black mold, otherwise black molds happen. And then guess what? We would have a house that was that was ventilated a specific way, and that's how you don't get black mold. How easy can that be? I mean, it literally is that easy. I want to know. I couldn't even imagine what. Oh man, it was huge in COVID. Yeah, it was always been in the news actually before COVID. COVID ruined everything. Just COVID just ruined. It's almost like COVID gave the reason for people not to do shit. Oh, that's COVID.
Yeah.
I don't want to get.
We can't process anything.
We can't process anything via.
Can't answer the phones.
Yeah, we can't do it. We can't answer the phones, even though we don't do it via paperwork. But
We'll definitely. I'll have to do some research and see what's going on.
Yeah, I just think that again, it just have to do some more research. I don't want nobody to sit there and say that we're. Because we've been accused of sometimes being anti-vax or whatever when we're not. We're just saying shit the way we see it. We're asking the same question the Force asks us, so don't get the ass when we're highlighting it. But at any rate, we're gonna have to get on that. So thank you again, Joe. I don't know. We went on a complete and other, totally different tangent. I'm just making sure I'm not streaming all these screen caps and freaking memes and DMs that I got up.
Don't do that.
A bunch of angry people. At any rate, we would never drop. No, we don't do that. We don't believe in dropping DMs or anything that goes in the inbox that you send to U.S. Army WTF Moments or WTF Nation Radio will never get sent. Will never get posted. Any communications you have with us, unlike other individuals that like to flash DMs and PMs around, we're not like that. because they have to respect conversation and conversation of trust. But at any rate, it's time for some house. Break out the lemon pledge.
Yep.
It's time for
lemon pledge is out.
Lemon pledge is out. 8 June, next Tuesday, we have Scott Mann. Did you see Last Out, Elegy of a Green Beret?
I did.
God, if that movie did not punch you in the gut, and then kept punching you throughout, then yeah, great movie. We appreciate Scott Mann for allowing us to put it on our platforms for a limited screening. They've been having watch parties and all that, and the limited screening is done, and now it's looking to possibly get launched in a larger platform, or you might be able to see it in a movie theater. Never know. However, you got to see it limited only to fans and followers of U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio, and you got to see it. That's pretty cool. So he's going to come on and talk to CQ next Tuesday for Pop Culture Warrior. He is a retired Green Beret turned playwright and knows what it's like to struggle returning home from combat and leaving the military, and he's learned how to overcome that struggle by sharing his story. The story is a very unique method of talking about it. It is, man, it's a very unique method of storytelling when it comes to combat and post-traumatic stress. His play Last Out, an Elegy of Green Beret, has brought the family realities of life and military to the audiences across the country in its 2019 tour, and then was a film. And so that right there was broadcasted on U.S. Army WTF Moments, and we were able to get some awesome feedback within the community. It was really great to kind of to watch everybody in the chats and make comments and kind of reflect and feel it. That movie I could feel, man. It was a anyways. So he's going to be on the 8th of June. The 22nd of June is going to be Tuesday. Again, another Pop Culture Warrior guest, Rob Paulson, the voice actor, will be on to discuss his experiences in Hollywood. You may know him as Raphael and Donatello from the 1987 and 2012 animated series Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. My daughter's going to freak out. She is a big Teenage Mutant Ninja, and if she finds out that Donatello and Raphael's going to be on her, she's going to go nuts. She's going to freak out. Pinky and the Brain. He was Pinky from Pinky and the Brain. Carl,
I love that.
I know, man. This is awesome. And then he's Carl Reiser from Jimmy Neutron and its spin-off series, The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius. Peck the Rooster from Barnyard and its spin-off television series, Back in the Barnyard. Spike in The Land Before Time. He was Spike of Land Before Time in the films and in the television series. And he is the title character in The Mask, the animated series. In total, he has been involved and voiced over 250 different animated characters and performed over 1,000 commercials. And he received the Outstanding Performer in Animated Program and 3 Annie Awards for his role as Pinky. And then on the 28th of June, 28th of June, I have Darian Lay coming on here. Country music singer Darian Lay is going to be on here and talk about her latest single, 10,000 Miles, which tells the tale of military households and loved ones across the nation derived from her own experience. This is going to be a cool interview. It'll be cool.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one too. Man, this is going to be it's going to be pretty cool. I can't wait. There's all these guests lining up. This is going to be awesome. We got some other guests coming up too in July and some other stuff. Don't worry about it. We got other stuff going on. Make sure you tune in. If you follow U.S. Army WTF Moments or a WTF Nation Radio on Facebook, you've been probably getting you get inundated with notifications. Or unless you have notifications off, you can also follow WTF Nation Radio at WTF Nation Radio on Twitter. And if you want to follow us on any of our other streaming platforms, we have other streaming platforms. If you don't like Facebook, we have Twitch. So if you game and play video games, you can listen to us on Twitch. You can listen to us on YouTube and, of course, on Twitter, Periscope / Twitter Live, I guess you would call it now because it's no longer Periscope. Then, of course, the 2 Facebooks pages. Hit us up at contact@WTFNationRadio.com for guest ideas, or if you are an aspiring artist and you want to give us some music to jam to so that way we can play different types of music, then send it. We'd be more than happy to play some of the tunes that you want to provide us. We also have a what was I going to say? I was going to say something else. Well, we have Twitter. I just said that, right? We got Twitters. We have.
Yeah, I think you covered them all.
I think I covered them all. Yeah, I'm just going on my checklist here. Don't forget, we have a show 4 times a week. Friday Night Freedom with Kaz and Pookie, and then we have Saturday, Sunday off. But don't worry, you never know. You might see a show pop up on Saturday or Sunday, depending on what's going on. We might have an impromptu event, just like we did for Memorial Day. And then we have the Monday edition with a Sergeant's Time with myself and a Flash. Flash is on a break right now, so he's out doing stuff. He's really freaking busy. So Mom, she stands in for him when she can, or it'll just be me solo talking to you guys. Tuesday is Mike Carrasquillo, also known as CQ, the Pop Culture Warrior, for Pop Culture Warrior, with him and the Uncultured Warrior Radar. I just think it's funny he calls him uncultured. That's messed up. I think he's pretty cultured. He just doesn't just fall in line with fads to see. I'm with you, Radar. I know what it's like, man, to watch films and stuff or someone says, you need to watch this, and everyone's like a fad and all that. You know, I've only seen half of a Game of Thrones episode, and that's because I was watching it with somebody. And you need to watch this. I'm like, okay, let me check it out. And there you go. I checked it out. Or you need to watch this, or you need to watch that. Yeah, unless it's Star Wars, because Star Wars is life, then, you know. Because I know you throw me all the TikToks. The main page likes to throw me TikToks of Star Wars, and you like to throw me the, what was it, the Cougar Talk and the Knitting Talk?
Yeah, knitting hats.
Yeah, knitting hats. I'm like, what is this for? Oh, I just thought you might need this. But again, make sure you vote. Go on AT the Emerald Core's Twitter page. Make sure you vote for DragonCon. And again, thank you guys so much for listening tonight. Again, thank you again, Colonel Joe Buccino, for hanging out with us. And I guess you all have a good night. Shots.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Intergalactic horse, and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Now they say that they've discovered life up there on Mars, so let's blow it all to hell and then claim it for ours. We'll paint the moon red, white, and blue for no other reason than we wanted to. Oh, Jupiter, imagine what you could become. A stupid, pointless planet turned into a giant gun. And Russia, so sorry, have to burst your bubble. Be a good sport, now sit back, relax, and watch us through the hubble as we celebrate the greatness of the United Planet of America. Space Force, Space Force, we'll sail saddle up our intergalactic horse, and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Now we'll go to infinity and beyond, beyond. You'll hear our manly voices singing Space Force strong. Though critics say sound doesn't travel in space, to which we reply sound will do as we say. Oh, Captain Kirk, your achievements, though notable and fine, as far as we're concerned, this is Deep Space Mine. And big fans, but Lord Vader, step away from the lightsaber. There can only be one, of course. Space Force. Ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum, ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. Space Force, Space Force. We'll saddle up our intergalactic horse, and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Space
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
China is flexing its military muscle.
The White House is warning about North Korea's nuclear weapons program.
U.S. officials believe Russians are behind a sophisticated cyber attack.
New concerns inside the U.S. defense community over a Russian military satellite.
Competition across the globe grows faster. Technology evolves exponentially. New adversaries loom outside our borders. Threats grow in the darkness of space and cyber. The 18th Airborne Corps, headquartered on Fort Bragg, but spread across the country, across 14 installations, is 92,000 soldiers who stand against these threats as the military's contingency response force. As technology grows faster, our enemies grow smarter, the world grows more dangerous and uncertain. The 18th Airborne Corps serves as a hedge against that uncertainty. As the contingency response force, units throughout the Corps must be ready to deploy anywhere in the world on a moment's notice.
America's contingency force is the global response force. That means we are focused, we are organized, we think about global competition every day. If we want to win, we have to innovate. We have to innovate faster than our adversaries. We have to outthink our adversaries. That is the culture of innovation that we talk about here in America's Contingency Corps.
So just like a soldier that goes and he takes his kits and he disassembles it and he reassembles it in a way that's more comfortable, just like you have a soldier that reconfigures his fighting load to enable him to be more efficient on the battlefield. We want to give the soldiers ownership in the 18th Airborne Corps to enable them to contribute to what we do as a fighting force. That's very, very important, because not only does that translate into effectiveness on the battlefield, it also transfers to motivation. It also gives us the esprit de corps to continue to fight towards the objective and complete the mission.